welcome back, guys, to the Brown Skin Blueprint. Um, we have this is like kind of full circle for us because
Yes.
Hillary was
Yeah.
like on one of our first episodes in the beginning. So this is like cool, like when we were still couch
I'm about to
conversations.
say before
So
it was even.
I
Yeah, I remember
know this is crazy.
that.
So Hillary is back. Thank you for coming on again, Hillary. We
Yes.
like
Thank you for
love,
having me. I'm so
of
excited.
course, we love talking to you.
Yes.
So,
Did
Sean, I'm gonna let you introduce
Okay.
our topic.
So the topic for today, which I feel like is just so relevant in the times that we are going through right now, is moving
Yeah.
through fear.
Yes.
And it has showed up. I think it was weighing on my heart so much because it has been a part of my life for a long time, but I didn't recognize it because I wasn't present.
Mm,
Like I didn't even recognize that I was moving through fear, which is why I felt like it was so important to talk about because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't realize that the way that they act and the way that they respond and the actions that they choose to partake in is literally because they're fearing something. But in their head, we as time goes on, we kind of like we attach emotions and reactions to what we see physically and we don't dig deep and be like,
Yeah.
oh really, I'm attaching it to like a physical thing, but really deep down I'm scared of something, or this makes me fearful, or this is the
yeah,
unknown. So
Yeah.
yeah.
just to get started, I wanted to kind of pinpoint just a few ways that you can kind of analyze and realize that you might be moving, that you are in a state of being fearful of something. So
Yeah.
Okay.
recognizing fear in your life. I know one way that I identify if I'm being fearful is if I become impulsive. So if I'm making decisions just like really quickly because I need it to be done and over, regardless to if it's gonna make me feel good, bad, or indifferent, I need the situation to be done. When I get extremely impulsive, I am fearful of something. So if you're a person who kind of operates off impulse depending on like situations, that could be a sign that there's some fear going on internally, subconsciously somewhere. So that's one example. Did you guys have any examples of like ways that y'all have noticed like, okay, this, I think I might be moving in fear right now?
Yeah, I think something that I have been definitely working through is you kind of hit on it, but for me, it's the fear of the loss of control of something. And this
Ooh.
year has been like a
Mm,
constant like reminder of like, dang, I don't have any control. So
Mm,
it's to me, it's like a trigger. It's like for me, it's like, and the more I think of it as like soap, right? The more you try to hang on to something, the more it like
yeah.
slips
yes,
out of your
yes.
hands.
Yes.
So for me, it's been like constant like fear of loss of control, which
Mm,
can sometimes give us like moments of like anxiety, right?
Mhm.
And so for me, I think that that's something that will trigger me if I feel like I'm about to lose control of something.
mm.
Then all of a
Mm.
sudden fear kicks in, and it's like alert, 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 like it's like you're about to lose control. You're and then
Yeah.
like, dang. So
Yeah.
it's like you won't let me be great, man. Like I was doing
Yes.
good.
Oh my
But
God. That was a great analogy. Oh my God.
Like literally, I was like, oh yeah, like
That's
that.
it.
Mhm.
She'd explained it so.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like perfect. Literally perfect.
That was great.
Um, for me, definitely feeling like I'm not in control. Yeah, that does not sit well with me. Um, Mine usually always shows up as anxiety though. My stomach usually hurts.
Mm,
Um, my thoughts usually snowball, so I am from A to Z in no time. Whole scenario is made up and solved, and I haven't even done anything yet.
yeah,
So usually my thoughts will run. Sometimes it's anger, but I don't identify it as anger. Like I just like, oh, I'm so frustrated, but like no, like you're scared. Like it's okay to say
ah,
you're scared.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I would say those three things. Like I would like physically feel like fear, like it'll be anxiety, or I'm like thinking, okay, if I do this, I don't have control, or okay, this is starting to get out of my hand. Like, what am I supposed to do now that I can't do anything about it? And
mhm,
yeah, then it's like I'll have like really, really bad frustration, but it's
yeah,
fear. It's not me being frustrated, it's
right,
fear.
right. That's the root of it, right?
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel led to say one more. For me, I start distracting myself. Like if I know I'm supposed to be focused on one thing, I will do a million other things because I'm scared to touch that one thing, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I am queen of creating distractions. Like, I feel like I be manifesting them. Like, so that's another one. Like, if you're somebody who easily can just like seep into distractions, you might be operating out of fear. So that kind of segue into the first bullet, which is fear and being on autopilot. So I got to tell just like a short mini story about how we can go years and years on autopilot because of something that was fearful and not realize it. So I told Brittany the other day, I became a mom. I got pregnant in 2011. No, in 2012. And I had Ezra in October 2012. But I remember when I first found out, just going into this state of like nothingness because I didn't know how to react. It was not what I felt like was the right time. I was in college. It was a lot going on. And so I just remember immediately going into, you got to get your life together because there is a child on the way. So my son is 8. So for all these years, I've just been working because I have a kid to provide for. I'm working, I'm trying to, and then I'm trying to work on my goals and my dreams and what I feel like my life purposes that God gave me at the same time, because I know that's the ultimate goal, but I'm still trying to just make sure that things are in line because I know how I was raised and I know how my childhood was, and I cannot let that happen with my child. So I gotta get it done. So I just been rolling for 8 years, just rolling and rolling and rolling. And so the other day I'm sitting downstairs and Ezra was so I don't let him eat snacks until he's had like a full breakfast. So he comes around the corner and he's eating chips, and I'm like, now you know that you're not supposed to be eating them Doritos because you have not had no breakfast yet. And so we just laughed it off because, like, you know, it's about to be break time. They're a little lax right now as far as school. So I was just like, you know, it's no big deal. And so when he walked away, I don't know what it was about this moment. I was sitting on the couch. When he walked away, it was like I heard his footsteps walk away. And I said, yo, you're a mom. And in that moment, he's 8. Right. He's 8. In that moment, I started laughing hysterically because I just was like, you're a mother. Like, you're somebody's mom. There's a little dude walking around you. Yeah. So, like, a whole life. There's a mini life that you had. He was a baby, and it was like I was like completely 100% present, probably for the first time. Wow. In my life, probably, honestly. Wow. Like the laughing hysterically turned into crying. But it wasn't like it was just like it was like I had been holding my breath for 8 years. And it was like I finally breathed. It was like God like breathed air into me, and it was like, oh, and I was just like, wow. And in that moment, I never felt so grounded and so rooted in my life. Like I could feel gravity in my hips as I was sitting on that floor, and I just had to sit there. I couldn't even get up. Ezra was like, "Mommy, are you laughing until you cry?" I said, yeah. He was like, sometimes I laugh till I cry. I said, sometimes we have to. And he was like, well, are you okay? He was like, what's wrong? I said, I'm happy. He was like, I'm happy. Do I make you happy? And I said, yes, you do. And so that was just like, that just woke me up. Like it opened my eyes to like so much. And I just started like in my present moment, like just thanking God, like just being like, I'm here, like right now, I'm alive, I'm breathing. Like this is, I was like, this is 30, I guess.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that.
Wow. So I say that to say, like, I feel like where we are, especially what you said, like this fear of not being able to be in control right now, and like everything that's going on, like it's important for us to realize, are we really being present every day, or are we on autopilot? How long have you been on autopilot? Like, I feel like that's and going back to why I even kind of just went into nothingness when I first found out. I was so scared. This is uncharted territory. I've never had a kid. I got brothers and sisters. I have family, but this is going to be new for me. I'm not, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. We hadn't been married yet. I was like, this is just not ideal. It was just straight fear. But in a sense, I feel like, I was able to navigate and do pretty well as far as like the 10 I consider, but I just feel like I wasn't present for so many moments because of that. So again, I bring the attention to being on autopilot. Like, I feel like it's something that we don't realize we're doing. And I want to kind of talk about how can we identify that we are and like get out of it. So my question is, do you feel like at any point in life, have you ever felt like you've experienced being an autopilot? And when you did, how did you get out of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I would say that's an amazing question, because I think sometimes we can definitely, I feel like a lot of us find moments, or there's moments in our lives where we are on autopilot, right? Where we're just going through the motions. And sometimes that could be where we are dwelling in fear. Like we've let fear kind of take over. We got comfortable with fear. Fear became our best friend. We sleep with fear. We wake up with fear. You know, like we're like swimming in fear. Like it's just a natural, normal part. So I feel like in that moment, it was like God was jolting you and was like, you used fear to motivate you without even knowing it. Like you look back, and in that moment, you had a choice, right? The whole fight or flight. You were like, I'm a fight. I'm a fight through this fear. So I think for me, in moments where I had the fight or flight mentality, or I was like, I can choose to either sit in this fear and not move, or I can choose to take a chance, even if I fail, right? You could have been like, oh, I'm gonna suck at this, like, but I'm gonna try it. So I think in every single moment I've had to choose to either walk through the fear or to let it keep me from stepping forward. And I've had so many moments where I've stepped through fear and I failed. I failed relationally, like I was married before, then I was divorced. So I took a step and I was fearful and it failed. So sometimes you can fail in that. But I think there's sometimes where you look back and you're like, wow, 8 years later, like if I had let fear rule, then I wouldn't be where I am now. So you really have to let fear motivate you. And it's easier said than done. I'm not saying it's like a walk in the park, but that's a powerful moment that you had. So that's cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Hillary. Yes.
I guess to bring together what both of y'all said, Shawana, we just had this conversation on the same day that we was talking about that.
Yes.
So, my fear in autopilot, I will stall. So I will not make a decision. I will just sit in my anxiety, as uncomfortable as that will be. And I won't do anything, because to me, that is safer than me making a decision. So I won't do anything.
I heard paralysis when you said that, almost like you go paralyzed.
It is.
Yes.
And that's why I made a point to say, as uncomfortable as it is debilitating and it is paralysis.
Ugh.
I don't care how bad I feel. If I am like not confident in a decision, I will not do it. Like I literally will just be like, I'm gonna just have to just take the pain. But I told Shawana the other day, I had listened to a podcast by Dr. Thema, and she was talking about unhealthy relationships and traits and things that show up. So after I had my chemical pregnancy, I was on autopilot. It happened like right when the summer started. So we were like traveling and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, you know, yeah, this is uncomfortable. Like I'm sad, but like, you know, I'm having fun. I'm living life. So finally, when my emotions started to crash and burn, anything else that was going on around me, I like jumped ship. Like, yeah, no, we not doing it.
Nope, not today.
No, I can't. I literally cannot handle anything else. So my response was like, when you were talking, Hillary, and you said fight or flight, I was like, oh my God, because my ass flew. Like I was off. Like, yeah, I was not sticking around for anything else. So I feel like in me being on autopilot for so long and just not dealing with my feelings and not wanting to deal with anything else, I'll say the result of me doing that was just me, one, not being able to handle my own reality and feeling like, you know what? I'm not dealing with nothing at this point. Like, not only am I not dealing with my reality, this stuff you bringing me and you bringing me, yeah, you got the wrong one today. I'm not dealing with it at all, and you can figure it out on your own. So it was kind of like mind blowing to me because Shawana, if you remember, these things happened
back to back,
literally back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I never caught on until like last week. And this happened last year. And I was like, oh my God, I was jumping ship left and right and didn't even realize, like, I didn't even care. Like, I was fearful. I was fine being in my fear. But y'all can't come over here across this line.
Yeah.
Like, no. I got control and me being in my misery. And no, you ain't coming over here with this. So I have definitely been on autopilot and been uncomfortable and wanted to be alone and being on autopilot. Like, yeah, I'm good.
Oof. Oh Lord, y'all. It always just gets so potent on these Zoom calls. I'll be like, yes.
Good. Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
So real though.
Crazy.
So now that we have identified and spoken on our personal experiences with this, I think I want to kind of touch on what you were talking about, Hillary. You were saying moving through fear, that false evidence appearing real. Can you kind of like expound on that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us, and me too included, so I'm saying this, I'm including myself, is I've let a lot of decisions I made were out of fear. Because if you look at it, if you're making a decision out of fear versus love, right? Love, what does love produce? Love propels, right? Love bears all things. Like we know what love is, right? So when you're making a decision out of fear, like whenever you make a decision, you have to ask yourself, is this out of love or is this out of fear? And I think for me, I had made so many decisions out of fear, very similar to what you were talking about, us kind of like Brittany and Shawani are like, we were living in fear. From that point on, it became very difficult for me to make decisions in general. But then also I was ruled by the what if and if only.
Ooh.
So the what if I do this? And then, oh, if only I had done that. So what you're doing is you're living in the past. And then you're fearful of the effect of the past, and you're fearful of the future. So like you can't. Where do you land in life? Like how do you even like make a decision in general? And I was letting the potential of something, I hadn't even seen it, right? False evidence appearing real, basically ruled my life. It ruled every single decision I made. I was like, well, I'm not going to go to this place to go to this event or go on a date or do this because it's automatically going to fail, right? I was closing the door before I even like went in the house. Like but like we do that though, right?
We do, absolutely.
So yeah, I would say that is the false evidence appearing real. And we really have to learn to recognize when we were making a decision, whether it's out of love or out of fear, but then also, is this a what if and if only moment? And if it is, that means I'm not gonna be ruled by this. And so you really have to know yourself and then also know, okay, why do I not want to talk to this person? What is this person trying to teach? You know, like Brittany was saying, she was like, I'm just gonna avoid it. Like, why? Really, we should be asking ourselves why about everything. Because if not, we become on autopilot. Like Shawana said, like we just go through the motions, right? And then all of a sudden one day we're like, how did I get here? And then it's like, because we didn't ask questions along the way. So we really have to ask ourselves why.
Haley, I just want you to know that I got 3 notes. We didn't ask questions along the way. No, I was writing notes while you were talking. So because that was good. Cool. I just want you to know that was
I just feel like Hillary just like read me for self. Like,
so when's the book coming out?
No, I read myself.
When's the book coming out? Because I would like to read your book.
2022.
Come on now.
Okay.
Listen, all that. Just all that. One thing my therapist has taught me to do, because she know when my anxiety starts spiraling, that thing be going. She always tells me to ask myself, like, but what could go right? Because when I get in that, oh, this is gonna happen, this gonna be bad, this gonna be bad, I already know how they gonna respond. She'll be like, Brittany, okay, but what could happen that could be good, or like what could go right? So now sometimes I have to sit and ask myself, like, Brittany, but really, like, all them bad things you didn't, like, really, will all of those happen? Like, what are the chances of that happening? So I really got to sit with myself sometimes and be like, but what if it works? Like, what if it goes fine? Like, what if everything, like, pans out to be okay. So that has been helping me. So yeah, it used to get on my nerves when she used to drop that question. So now I have to just prepare for it when I take things to her. She's just like, Brittany, but what could go right? And I just like, okay.
I don't want to talk about what could go right now.
Yeah, like that's not why I brought this up. Like,
that's why I love therapy though, because they'll let you get it out.
Yes.
If you like, yeah, sis relating, and she be like, but and you be
but I know.
You be like, dang,
you've been making decisions on fear your whole life.
Yeah.
She was like, what had been happened to you that makes you make decisions out of fear? And I'm like, oh my God, I just wanted to cry and talk to you. I didn't want you to like read it.
Like, exactly. Like, dang, I didn't know we was going that deep today, but okay.
Right.
Like, but it's wonderful. We are definitely therapy advocates over here. Absolutely.
Same.
For sure.
So, oh my God, yeah, we are just rolling through this. So, we did the personal experiences that tied in. Okay, so now that we have talked about what it looks like, we've talked about how it has made us react. We've talked about Hillary did a great job at just going in on the things that we let control our lives that don't even exist, like that false evidence appearing real. One of the best acronyms I feel like ever created out of the word. So now, how can we use fear as a motivator? How do we actually navigate this thing?